from the Abington High School class of 1977 will be our first inductee to this evening into the Abington High School Athletic Hall of Fame. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Richard Kelly and Denise Marrier to come forward. As her Abington High School basketball coach, Coach Kelly has been asked to formally introduce and induct Ms. Donna Marrier into the Abington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and her commemorative Hall of Fame pin will then be presented to Donna by her sister, Denise Marrier. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to induct, as a member of the Abington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Ms. Donna Marrier.
Thank you, Kate and Sean and Peter and the entire committee for putting on such a classy event. It's really an honor to be up here in front of all of you speaking tonight. I'd also like to congratulate all the worthy inductees that will be coming up a little bit later on in the evening. I am honored and privileged to speak on behalf of Donna Marrier on her induction into the Abington Hall of Fame. I can honestly say that Donna Marrier is the most naturally talented athlete that I ever had the pleasure to coach in 40 years of coaching. Her accomplishments are legendary. She was a three-sport all-star. She was a Patriot Ledger and Brockton Enterprise All-Scholastic in softball and basketball, and was a Boston Globe All-Scholastic in softball her senior year. She was also a captain in basketball and softball in her senior year. And that year she was named an All-American softball player by All Scholastic magazine after being nominated by her softball coach, Janice Miley. Along with team accolades, Donna also was known as she had quite an individual talent. She was quite an accomplished pool player. And I guess you could kind of call her the Minnesota Fats of her time, but she really was written up in the papers as being such a great pool player, so I thought that was kind of unique as well. Personally, I knew Donna best as a basketball player, but she's be the first one to tell you her best sport was softball. So I could speak to the basketball and just let you imagine how great a softball player that she was. Donna did it all for our basketball team the 2 years that she played for us. She averaged 18 points as a junior, 16 points as a senior, and that number would have been a lot higher, but we had a lot of games where we won fairly easily and Donna was sitting on the bench. But as John mentioned earlier, she scored 700 points in the 2 years, junior and senior year. Donna was one of those unique players that had the ability to be better when it was required. She averaged over 20 points in all of our 5 tournament games that she participated in. Donna was a great ball handler and rebounder. She led our team in rebounding both the junior and senior years, and she always had the knack to get the key, tough rebound when it was needed. And she's only, I'm guessing, 5'7", standing on her tiptoes. But she had the ability to jump. And back in those days, the initial days of women's basketball getting some notoriety, Donna stood out because of that. She had a jump shot, and she was able to jump after the basketball. She was so versatile that she really didn't have a set position for us. She could do anything that we asked her to do. She was kind of like the Magic Johnson of her time. If we needed her to play guard, she brought the ball up. If we needed her to be the shooting forward, she did that. If we needed her to be the center, she did that. She truly could do anything that we asked her to do. The most important thing, though, Donna had tremendous individual skills, but those skills transferred to winning. Her 2-year record as a basketball player was 38-5. So everything that she did individually wise led to help her teammates become the team that they were. I also truly admired Donna most because she was a lead by example personality. I don't ever remember her getting angry or frustrated during games or in practices. She was always encouraging the other players. Very even-keeled personality, wonderful personality. And that was a huge asset personally to me as a brand new, spanking new rookie coach. So she was wonderful to coach. Instead of talking about getting things done, Donna just went out and did it. That was the way she approached things. She continued her athletic career after high school. She played softball and basketball at perennial New England powerhouse Southern Connecticut. After 2 years there, she ended up at Bridgewater, played another year of basketball, played 2 years of softball and captained the Bridgewater State softball team. After college, Donna played 20-plus years of highly competitive softball under the USSSA League, and she was inducted into their Hall of Fame as well. You can't talk about Donna's accomplishments without mentioning her family. The constant support she always was provided with by her 3 sisters and her mother Barbara. They were always there for Donna, not only in athletics, but later in life in some tough situations hit Donna, they were there to support her. But by far, Donna's biggest fan was her father, Ed. Ed loved the game of basketball, but even more, he loved and enjoyed watching Donna and her teammates play the sport. Ed was the Green Wave's #1 super fan, and he had his own private cheering section right in the bleachers, right behind the bench. A story I'd like to relate, and Donna gave me permission to tell this story. Junior year in the state tournament, second round play, we came up against a very talented team called Apponequet. They had a 6'1" center. They're growing on to play Division I softball. They had an all-scholastic point guard, extremely talented. And we chose to play our worst half of the season that game. So we were down by 20 at the half. We didn't know what was going to happen. Well, Donna led us on a furious comeback. She scored 18 points in the second half. We got to within 3 points and had the basketball with a minute to go. Unfortunately, we committed a turnover, turned the ball over to Apponequet, and ended up losing the game by 3. Ed's comment to Donna after the game was, "Great comeback, but if you hadn't dribbled the ball off your leg, you might have had a chance to win." So, in conclusion, I can't think of a more deserving athlete, but more importantly, deserving person to be inducted into the Abington Hall of Fame than Donna Marrier.
Donna's sister Denise will present the commemorative Abington High School Athletic Hall of Fame commemorative pin to our first inductee, Donna Marrier. Congratulations, Donna.
Cool character, right? Thanks, Sean. First, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for nominating me. I really appreciate that. And I'd also like to thank Coach Dick Kelly for that great speech. Very nice, thank you. I'd also like to thank my family and friends for coming, especially Bonesy, Sandy Gold Bonesy. She came all the way from Maine, my classmate and teammate, and Karen Pigataro, and my best friends in high school. We were like the Three Stooges. My father gave everybody nicknames, and my name was Pro, and then we had Karen Pigataro was Peg, and then we got Bonesy. So everywhere we went was Pro, Peg, and Bonesy. It was awesome. We were inseparable. So I'm really glad everybody's here. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I'd also like to congratulate all of the past and present Hall of Famers. One especially, my sister Robin. She was actually inducted last year because she was lucky enough to play on the 1981 state championship team for Coach Kelly's basketball team. And so she's here tonight. I remember a story. I was at Southern Connecticut at school, and she was back with Coach Kelly and the team. And they were at the state championships, and they won the whole thing. It was very exciting. And so I talked to her a little bit later about that, and she says, "Yeah, geez, we played at that Boston Garden. What a dirty place. The floor was dead. You know, I didn't like it at all." I go, "Robin, do you have any idea how lucky you were to play at the Boston Garden?" I went, "Kill you for that?" I did play 3 sports. I played field hockey only because there was no other sport to pick from. And I had some really close friends, mentor Patty Phillips and Linda Green, a bunch of others. We played for coaches Marsha Crooks and Karen McDonald. When I played field hockey, I went, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me, you gotta wear a kilt, Well, I'm not wearing the kilt. So I chose to be the goaltender. Because the goaltender got to wear goalie pants. So I was all set. I remember one game, when we played field hockey, it was freezing cold all the time. And I remember a game in Hull. It was like 50, the wind was whipping, and their field hockey field was out of this end of, and surrounded by the ocean. And it was so cold and windy, and back then, the goaltenders did not wear a helmet or a mask. No, not at all. So there I am in my goalie pants. The team was playing, and I remember someone took a shot, hit me square in the forehead, and the ball rebounded to the 25-yard line. And I saw stars. But then I thought, wait a minute, Linda Green just took the ball from the 25-yard line, drove all the way down the other end, dribbled down the other end, and scored a goal. So I got an assist. Yes. Moving on to softball. We did not have a coach for softball. Coach Janice, Mrs. Miley, was nice enough to offer and volunteered to go to coach for us. And her husband came along to help too. He did the batting practice and all of that. But God loved Mrs. Miley. She'd say, okay, so-and-so, take the field, this and that. And we'd say, well, how about this? Okay, that sounds good. We actually did quite well, considering, the leader situation. It was a lot of fun. I played with a lot of really good teammates. Pig, Dwyer, Rice, Patrice Fay, Dunny, Sharon Donovan, Kim Dowdy, I could go on and on. Marie Russo, my father called her Hoofa. She had big feet. Yeah, I'm telling you, he had a nickname for everybody. So there's a story I've got to tell. Our second baseman was Patrice Fay, but we called her Rice for a nickname. It was her nickname. And I remember during season, Pig and Bonesy and I decided that we were going to go steal a sign over near Green Street in Abington named Rice Street. We were going to go steal that sign and go give it to our second baseman. We thought that sounded like a lot of fun. So we got into Pig's red Toyota Corolla. We grabbed some tools and we drove over there. It was at night, and we had some tools, and we got out and we climbed up on top of the red Toyota Corolla. And there would someone be on the lookout. Like Bo's like, the car's coming. So we jumped back down, we'd hide. We out there with our wrenches and our socket wrenches and pliers and everything. We got that sign. So we drove it over to Rice and we gave it to her. She thought it was wicked cool. She hung it up and all that. So I go to bed that night, and all of a sudden in the morning I hear, get out of bed! Oh my God, it was my mother. She opened the door, she was ripping. She said, there's a cop at the door. I said, oh my God, so I get out of bed, I'm in my jammies, I got a bed head, I go to the door, he goes, are you Donna Marrier? The cop at the door, he's got a big smirk on his face. You Donna Marrier? I said, yes I am. He says, oh, well, you were seen stealing a sign with Karen Pignataro and Sandy Gould last night off of Green Street. Is this true? Yes, sir, it is. Well, all right. Well, we won't press charges as long as you get that sign and bring it back to the Abington Police Department today. I said, okay, all right, I will. So, Mom slams the door, she looks at me, she grabs me by the scruff of the neck. Let's go, call your friends, we're gonna go pick them up and go to bring that sign back to the Abington Police Station. I'm like, oh my God, so I call Pig and Bones up and they go, Jesus. So Mom, she drives us over to Ricey's, we get the sign and she's like, oh geez, that's okay, I'm sorry, So the three of us, we took the sign, we walked back into the Abington Police Department and put it down on the desk, and they said, "Thank you very much," and they all kind of giggled and let us go. On to my favorite in high school, it was basketball. My freshman year, my coach was Karen McDonald, and my sophomore year was Marsha Crooks. Marsha's an inductee as well. I remember as a sophomore, Dwyer and I, as sophomores, the uniforms back then on the court were skirts. And we were like, oh man, we're gonna wear these skirts. And Marsha Crooks even made us wear skirts when we traveled on the buses to and from games. And I remember giggling on the bus with Dwyer on the way back, Kathy Dwyer, on the way back. And what we did was we would just drape our skirt over our laps and pretend we were wearing the skirt, but we really had shorts on underneath. We wasn't catching Dwyer wearing a skirt. It was too funny. So, anyways, as a sophomore playing, I remember my mentor again, Patty Phillips, as a senior, leading a team with Karen Sanderson and Liz McSherry and a few others, and they would hang out with Dottie Peters. And I don't know if you know me, but I wear number 24, no matter what sport, no matter when in my life I've played a game. It's always with a 24 on my back. So it was sophomore, and it was during basketball season, and I'm sound asleep, and I hear this. I'm like, what's that? So I throw open the shade, and all I see is this really big number 24. And then I hear giggling. I see Patty Phillips, Liz McSherry, Karen Sanderson, and Dottie Peters. They had just gone to Route 24 South. And then brought that 24 back to me and held it up in front of my bedroom window and said, "Here you go." I know. I still have that sign. It's in my garage up on the wall. It's awesome. Okay, and then junior year, we were up for a new coach, and they hired this guy, Dick Kelly, and we were like, what? They're hiring a man? How is he going to coach us in the locker room, and girls' locker room, and all that? And we weren't too sure about Coach Kelly. But the first thing he did was he got us out of those skirts and into shorts. So we were like, he's all right. I remember the first meeting he had with us. He says, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. What are some of your goals of, this up-and-coming basketball season? What do you think? So I just said, well, I'd love to beat Hanover and break their over 100-game winning streak. And other people said other things. And he says, well, how about this one? How about let's win the division and go on to the tournament? We're like, we really didn't do that well. We weren't used to winning. And sure enough, with Coach Kelly, he's like the Belichick of basketball. He's the best coach I've ever had. Honest to God, he really was. And we went on to win the South Shore League Championship. We went on to the tournament, and it was the best years of my life playing ball for Coach Kelly. Had some awesome teammates: Peg, Kathy Dwyer, Debbie Leach, Audrey Damon, Donnie Sanderson, but did really well. They have a lot to do with why I was so successful, especially my co-captain, Kathy Dwyer. She was an amazing ball player. She and I had really good times being the co-captain, and I remember her, my dad taught me the outside finesse jump shot, but she was in the trenches. And she was in there boxing out and rebounding, and she would dish it out to me for the jump shot. And she was fantastic. She was very strong and rugged, and I'll never forget the years playing ball with her. Coach Kelly was so tough coaching. Pig, I'm sure you remember this, the suicide sprints. We were in really good shape. He had us doing suicide sprints, and I remember doing those so often, and it hurt. And my dad would drive me up to Bridgewater State College to sit down in the athletic training room to shave down the blisters and the calluses on my feet from doing those infamous suicide sprints. Coach Kelly made us good ball players in really good shape. I remember being a pretty decent free throw shooter. I think one of the biggest reasons why was Coach Kelly and I would be in practice, and he and I were the last to leave, and we would play that game of horse, and got pretty good competing against Coach. But I think the biggest reason why was I was very superstitious. I dated Dickie White back in high school, and he was a really fantastic all-star hockey player. And during basketball season, part of his skate broke off. It's the part where you thread your lacing through the eye hole. And he gave it to me. And I'm like, oh, give me that. So what I did is on my sneakers, I would lace that piece of skate of his and tie it up to my sneaker. So I'm at the free throw line every single time I had to make a shot. I would lean down, touch that little piece of skate, bounce 3 times, up in it, swish. Yeah, Dickie White had a lot to do with why I did pretty good with free throws. Let's see. I'm sorry. Gonna wrap it up. Make Sherry move. I want to thanks again for this honor. It feels really good up here. It really does. Thank you so much. It's an honor. And I've always been, but on this day, I'm especially proud to be a Green Wave. And I'm dedicating this Hall of Fame honor to you, Daddy. Wish you were here.